I caught my girlfriend liking shirtless gym photos of her ex at 3 a.m. She said, "You're insecure." I said, "Maybe." Then I started commenting heart emojis on her sister's Instagram posts. Her family intervention call 2 days later started with, "I, 29 male, am an architect living in Chicago. I make good money, own my condo, and up until last week, I thought I was planning a future with my girlfriend. We've been together for 3 years. She works in marketing. Well, she networks in marketing while I cover the mortgage, the utilities, and pretty much every date night. I never really minded because I'm old school like that. I like taking care of things. But there's a fine line between being a provider and being a doormat, and I apparently cross it miles back without noticing. My girlfriend has always been close with her exes. She calls it maturity. I called a red flag that I painted white because I was in love. One ex in particular, let's call him the trainer, has been a sore spot. He's a personal trainer, obviously. All abs, no substance. An Instagram feed that looks like a catalog for baby oil. Here is how everything went down. Tuesday night, I woke up at 3:15 a.m. The room was pitch black, except for the blue light torching my retinas from her side of the bed. She was scrolling, fast, then stopping, double tapping. I didn't move. I just watched. She wasn't just doom scrolling. She was on the trainer's profile. He had posted a late-night pump photo about 10 minutes prior. Shirtless, veins popping, sweat everywhere. She liked it. Then she unliked it. Then she liked it again, presumably to make sure the notification hit the top of his stack. Then she started typing a DM. I sat up and asked if she couldn't sleep. She jumped so hard she nearly dropped the phone on her face and locked the screen instantly. She claimed she was just checking emails, but I called her out. I asked why she was on the trainer's profile at 3 a.m. Her face went through 3 stages: panic, calculation, and finally, offense. She turned the light on, blinding me, and sat up, crossing her arms. This was her signature move. Attack before you can be attacked. She snapped at me, saying she was just scrolling, and that liking a picture isn't a crime. Then she dropped the line that started it all. "You are so insecure. It's pathetic, honestly. He's just a friend." When I pointed out she was typing a message, she lied and said she was going to ask him about a workout routine for her sister. That was a terrible lie. Her sister is a marathon runner who hates gym brothers. My girlfriend then asked if I wanted to check her phone, accusing me of being controlling. She knew I wouldn't because I value privacy. She banked on my decency. So I just said, "You're right. I am insecure. My mistake," and went back to sleep. She looked confused by the lack of a fight, but she took the win. The next morning, I woke up before her. I didn't make coffee. I didn't leave a note. I went to work, and during my lunch break, I opened Instagram. I don't follow her sister. We've always been cordial, but my girlfriend kept us separate. She always claimed her sister was judgmental and difficult. So I kept my distance to keep the peace. But I knew her handle. I went to the sister's profile. She had posted a photo of her new golden retriever puppy about an hour ago. I commented, "That is the cutest thing I've ever seen." Red heart. Then I went to a photo of her from a week ago, winning a local 5K. I commented, "Beast mode, incredible time." Raising hands, red heart. Then, just for good measure, I liked 3 of her selfies from the last month. Nothing sexual. Nothing creepy. Just supportive. Highly visible. By 2 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Texts from my girlfriend demanding to know what I was doing and telling me to delete the comments. I ignored them. When I walked home at 5 p.m., the atmosphere was toxic. She was sitting on the couch, not alone. Her mother was on FaceTime on the iPad, propped up on the coffee table. Her mother didn't even say hello, just launched into an attack about me humiliating her daughter. I loosened my tie and told her I just liked some photos and that she sounded insecure. My girlfriend screamed that I was doing it to spite her because she has issues with her sister. I calmly pointed out that she told me liking photos at 3 and wasn't a big deal. So why was it a big deal when I did it to her sister, but not when she did it to her shirtless ex? Her logic was twisted. She claimed since he was an ex, it was history. but her sister was family, implying I was trying to drive a wedge between them. Her mother then threatened that if I didn't delete the comments and apologize, I wasn't welcome at Thanksgiving. I looked at them and said, "Okay, I won't come to Thanksgiving. Saves me the flight costs." I packed a bag and told her I was staying at a hotel to cool off. As I left, she was screaming that I was abusive. I checked into a hotel, and that's when the DM came through. It wasn't from my girlfriend. It was from the sister. She asked why my girlfriend was blowing up her phone, claiming I was trying to sleep with her. I replied, explaining the situation, that I was just proving a point about the insecure comment. The sister asked if she was still talking to the trainer. When I said yes, she told me to call her immediately. When I called, the sister dropped a bomb. She told me my girlfriend had borrowed $2,000 from her last week, claiming it was my surprise birthday gift, because she was short on cash until her bonus hit. My birthday is in 8 months. I told her I never got a gift and I pay for everything. The sister then revealed my girlfriend had told her family I was struggling financially due to bad investments and that she was covering the mortgage. The rage that hit me was cold. I was being played emotionally and financially. I asked for the receipts of the transfer and told her not to tell my girlfriend we spoke. The sister agreed, confirming my suspicion that my girlfriend isolates people by lying about them. She warned me that their mother created a narrative and they would get nasty if I threatened their cash cow. 2 days later, the intervention happened. I went back to the condo to get more clothes, and they were waiting, girlfriend, mother, and father. They sat around my dining table like a tribunal. The mother tried to order me to sit, but I reminded her it was my house. My girlfriend started talking about my mental health and jealousy, claiming I was having a breakdown. The mother then dropped the hammer. They had spoken to a lawyer friend about emotional distress and decided it was best if I stayed in a hotel for a month while my girlfriend stayed in my condo to feel safe. And, of course, I needed to pay for her living expenses because of the domestic contract. I looked at the father, who was staring at his shoes, and reminded them we aren't married and she isn't on the deed. The mother slammed her hand on the table, yelling that I wasted her prime years and owed her. I calmly replied, I owe her nothing. Actually, she owes her sister $2,000. The money she claimed was for my birthday. My girlfriend went pale. I revealed I knew about the money, the lies about my bad investments, and I had pulled the phone logs from our shared family plan, proving she'd been texting the trainer for 3 months. She tried to stammer that it wasn't what I thought, but the mother instantly shifted goalposts, yelling that he was just her fitness coach. I bluffed and asked about the 2 a.m. text asking if he was lonely. My girlfriend went silent. I laid out the law. You have 30 days. That is a legal notice required for a tenant at will in Chicago. I have the eviction notice drafted right here. I pulled the paper from my jacket pocket, signed for receipt. When she refused, I told her I'd have a process server tape it to her forehead at work. That's when the mother stood up, purple with rage, and said, "You will not do this. We will sue you for everything. We will tell everyone you beat her." The room went dead silent. I asked her to repeat that. The mother puffed up and said, "Emotional abuse is abuse. If you throw her out, people will talk. We will make sure they know exactly what kind of man you are." I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, and held up the screen. The red recording timer was ticking. I said, "I hope you know that while Illinois is a 2-party consent state, there is a specific exception when there is reasonable suspicion of a criminal act. Extortion is a Class 3 felony in Illinois. Threatening to fabricate a crime to obtain property? That's textbook." The mother's mouth snapped shut. I lied and said I'd been recording since I saw their car. The father finally looked up, terrified, and tried to de-escalate, but I kicked the parents out immediately. I told my girlfriend the 30 days stood, but offered her cash for keys. I'd give her the $2,000 she stole from her sister if she moved out by the weekend. Otherwise, she got nothing. I locked myself in the master bedroom that night, changing every password I owned. She didn't take the deal. She entered the poltergeist phase. For the next 2 days, she cranked the thermostat to 90, left lights on, and ran water just to bait me into a reaction she could use. I didn't bite. Then, on Thursday, she escalated. I got a call from HR at my architecture firm. An anonymous complaint alleged I was using company software for personal profit and drinking on the job. I denied it immediately and told them I was going through a volatile breakup. They had to investigate, which put my license and job at risk. I called the sister again. She was horrified that they went after my job. She told me she was done staying neutral. She revealed she knew the trainer, Mark, because they had matched on Hinge a year ago. He was a gossip. She messaged him, fishing for info. By Friday, the deadline for the Cash for Keys deal, my girlfriend was moving slowly, demanding $5,000 instead of $2,000. She threatened to make my life hell if I didn't pay up. My phone pinged. The sister had sent screenshots from Mark. Turns out, Mark wasn't loyal either. The screenshots were photos of my girlfriend in our bathroom in lingerie I bought her, sent last week. But the texts were worse. She called me boring and clueless, saying she just needed me to pay off her car. And then a text from 2 days ago. My mom is going to scare him into paying me a settlement. We can use that for the deposit on a place. I connected my phone to the 65-inch TV in the living room via AirPlay and swiped the conversation onto the big screen in 4K. Her jaw unhinged. I told her the sister got them from Mark. I pointed to the text about the settlement and said, "This is conspiracy to commit extortion. I already have your mother on tape. Now I have written proof of premeditation." She tried to grab the remote, but I told her it was already saved to 3 clouds and forwarded to her father. Her face went white. I told her the father was the only one with a conscience, and since his name was on the family plan she used, he needed to know what they were capable of. Her phone rang immediately. It was him. I gave her 1 hour to get out before I posted everything on Facebook and tagged her church and boss. She scrambled, sobbing and throwing things into bags. At minute 58, she left, spitting that I was a cold, heartless narcissist. I told her she was a tenant who didn't pay rent and slammed the door. The father came the next day to pick up her furniture. He looked broken. He told me the mom was sick, in bed, hiding, essentially. He handed me $500 cash for the damages and utility spikes she caused. He apologized and said they had messed up by blindly supporting her. I told him to fix his relationship with the other sister before he lost her too. HR cleared me on Monday after tracing the IP of the complaint to a residential address in my neighborhood, my girlfriend's. They blocked her number when the mom tried to call again to scream at them. I thought it was over, but entitlement is a disease. 3 weeks later, I got a letter, no return address. It was an invoice from my ex for $5,000 for consulting fees, itemized as relationship management and life coaching. She had a sticky note attached saying I legally owed her for her labor. I sent a photo to the sister, who called her delusional, but I didn't just ignore it. I wrote a formal response countersuing for 36 months of unpaid rent, utilities, the stolen loan, and emotional distress, totaling over $60,000. I wrote that I would waive the balance if she signed a strict NDA and cease contact, but if she filed in small claims, I would bring the extortion recordings and text logs to the judge. I mailed it certified. She signed the receipt. I never heard from her again. I met the sister for coffee the following weekend. It was weird at first, but we bonded over the trauma. She told me the ex is living in a basement apartment in Ohio working retail, and Mark blocked her immediately. We aren't dating, that's too messy, but we're good friends now. 6 months later, I saw my ex viewed my LinkedIn. Her headline was Aspiring Lifestyle Influencer Digital Nomad. Her latest post was about surviving toxic narcissistic abuse. It had 12 likes. I just laughed and blocked her. The lesson here isn't just about spotting red flags. It's about understanding your own worth. I let my boundaries erode because I thought providing meant enduring. It took a 3 a.m. thirst trap and a family of grifters to wake me up.